For decades now, people have been trying to capture Bigfoot or Sasquatch in Stillwater, Minnesota. One man was actually lucky enough to actually meet a Sasquatch in person. His name is Paul Edwards, and the Bigfoot's name is John Squatington. My name is Paul Edwards, and I've studied Bigfoots and Squatches for about 20 years now, and so I can understand a little bit of Squatch. With me today is Bigfoot. Thank you for joining us, Bigfoot. Is that all right if I call you Bigfoot?
Rah, 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 rah.
John, it is then. How do you make a living these days, John?
Rah, 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 rah.
And what are your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time?
Rah, 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 rah. Rah, 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 rah.
You're basically just like a human being then.
Rah, 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 rah.
Have you ever harmed a human before?
Rah, 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 rah.
Okay. Do you have a family or family members?
Rah, 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 rah.
How have you kept undercover and away from society for so long?
Rah, 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 rah.
Have you ever been captured before?
Rah, 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 rah.
How many of your kind still exist today?
Rah, 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 rah.
Well, thanks, John. It was nice to actually meet a Bigfoot. Thanks for coming in. It took a lot of guts and courage. So, thank you. So last week I met a Bigfoot or a Squatch named John Squatington, and it was a pleasure to meet him. I asked him a bunch of questions, and I feel like I didn't get quite enough information, so after the interview I had asked him if I can meet him at his residence today, and he said that is just fine. And it's very interesting to actually have met a Bigfoot. I mean, I've only met one in my life, and that's him. So we're gonna go ahead and go meet him and see if we can ask him a few more questions and get to know this Squatch a little better. I'm here with John Squatington, and he's the only Bigfoot around these parts, I think, and he's the only one I've ever met. What I just asked him there is how long he's lived here, and he said about 10 years. I'm going to ask him another question here. I'm going to go ahead and ask John how he bought this house without anyone knowing that he was Sasquatch. He says that he bought it online off of eBay. I'm going to ask him what he does for a living. He said he does some online computer sales. We're going to ask him what a Bigfoot eats on a daily basis. He says he eats fruit. John said he had family, and I honestly don't see any other Bigfoots here, so we're going to ask him where his family is. He says they're up in Canada, visiting some relatives up there. So John has come in contact with several human beings, and we're going to ask him how these human beings treated him. He said he's been treated very unfairly, and humans have been trying to capture him for decades now, and his family members and his ancestors. Luckily, I can speak a little bit of Squatch to calm him down a little bit. Well, John, thanks for inviting me over to your house. I really appreciate it. It took guts. Oh, geez, you got a hard handshake there.